Let me first take for loops for the numbers. We will do some examples for the numbers, how the for loop iterates over the numbers. Example number 1. For number in 1, 2, 5, print number. Your final output will be 1 to 5. Look at here, we have used for loop. This for means for loop. For number in is the belong to operator. In 1 to 5. 1 to 5 are the three numbers. So this for loop will iterate on each and every single number. It will be printed individually in the output. But make sure, don't forget the print function. The print function is the only function where the things will be printed in the output. If you miss the print function, the things will not be printed. Don't forget to put the colons. Put the colons and press the enter button. Your new line of the print function will start from here. So print of number. What is number? Number is just a simple name. You can put for X, you can put for A, you can put for B. It is absolutely up to you. It is just a simple name that you give it. This number shows the items, the individual items inside this set. 1 is the number, 2 is the number, 5 is the number. If you put A here, then A shows the individual numbers. 1 is the A, 2 will be the A, 5 will be the A. It is just a simple name. I repeat it. So I gave number here for number in 1 to 5. And then for the print function, you have to put exactly the same thing, the same variable name, number. If you have number here, you have to take the print of number. If you have A here, you have to take the print of A. If you have X here, you have to take the print of X. Whatever name you have here, you have to take the print of exactly the same name. So since I have number here, therefore I took the print of number. When you run it, you will get 1 to 5. It is a drop down of these three numbers. So the for loop iterates on each and every single number. First it iterates over 1, and then it iterates over 2, and then it iterates over 5. So 1 to 5. That's how the for loop works. It iterates on each and every single number. So we will see the numbers printed individually in the final output. This is the one way to write the for loop program, but there is a second way to demonstrate the same example, the same problem, but in a different way. So let's check the second method. I'm going to take exactly the same example, example number 1, but this time I will give the name X, which is the variable name. X equals to 1, 2, 5. I took the same numbers. Now for numbers in X, print numbers. You will get exactly the same answer. There is no difference in the output. You will get the same output, but it is just a different way to demonstrate your program. Look at here. This time I gave the variable X. This X is just a variable name. It can be X, it can be Y, it can be B, it can be C. Whatever you want you can give. Or you can also give the numbers, whatever you want. So X is a variable. It equals to 1, 2, 5. Now we used for loop here for number in X. In X, what is X? X is actually this 1 to 5. These are the numbers which is represented by the X. So instead to put this whole thing here, we are going to simply put the variable name which is X. Just simply put X here. So it is exactly one thing, because this X shows all this thing from here up to here. This whole set has been demonstrated with the X here now. So we don't need to put it here. Now to take the print of number, because we have number here, if you give the number, if you have number here, you take exactly the same number. If you have B, you have to take the print of B. If you have C, you have to take the print of C. Since we have number here, therefore you have to take the print of number. When you run it, you will get exactly the same answer. So the program will check each and every number. First it iterates over 1, and then over 2, and then over 5. So all the numbers will be printed in the output individually. 1 and then 2 and then 5. Look at here, when you compare it with the previous method, this one we directly put the numbers, the list of the numbers which are 1, 2 and 5. We don't have any name, we don't have any variable for this list. We directly put list here. So we have for number in 1, 2, 5. In the second method, what we do, we just simply give the name x. X is a variable. It is the identifier. It is the name for this list. So when it comes to this line, you simply put x instead of this whole list. Simply put x because x shows this whole list. It is the identification identifier of this whole list. So simply write for number in x. You will get the same output, the same answer and the same output. It is just the different way to demonstrate your program using for loop. Example number 2. For item in 3, 2.5, 7, 1.0, 20, 50, 70, print item, you will get this output 3, 2.5, 7, 1.0, 20, 50, 70. If you remember last time we used number, it is just the name, whether you use number or you write item or you write A or B or C or D, whatever you put, it is just simply the name of these items, the name of this item. So the numbers have been represented now by the item, by the name of the item. So this item is the representation of all these numbers. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4 and so on. So instead of numbers, this time I wrote item. It is one thing. The rest of the thing is absolutely the same thing. For item in list. So what this for loop, this for is the for loop. This for loop will iterate on each and every single item in this list. And they will be printed here in the final output. Take the print of item. Remember, whatever name you give here, you simply put it here. If it is number, take the print of number. If it is item, take the print of item. If it is A, take the print of A. Since it is item, therefore I took print of item. Don't forget the print function. The print function will print everything in the output. It is a drop down. It is the drop down of these whole numbers in the list. So the for loop iterates on each and every single item. First it iterates on 3 and show it here in the output. Then it iterates on 2.5 and then at 2.7 and then 1.0 and then 20 and then 50 and then 70. It iterates on each and every single items. They will be shown in the output in the drop-down pattern. So this is the one way to demonstrate your program. You can also use the second method to write this program. What method? You can simply give the name to this whole list like x equals to this or a equals to this list. And then instead of using this, just simply put that in x or in a, whatever. Just follow exactly the same thing what we did. So you can also use the second method to solve this program. Your output will be exactly the same thing. There won't be any difference in the output. Symbolic print. Example number 3. For number in 1, 2, 3, 4, print historic inside the quotes times number. You will get this pattern of the hysterics. So it is a symbolic print. This is called the symbolic print. Whatever thing, whatever symbol you put inside the double quotes, if you put x, you will see all the way x. If you put k, you will see all the way k. Since I put hysterics, therefore there are all the way hysterics in this pattern. Now look at here. For loop iterates on each and every single numbers here in this list. First it iterates over 1 and then on 2 and then on 3 and then on 4. But look at here in the print function what we did. I don't have simply number. Last time if you remember we had only number. But this time I took the product of the number with any symbol. I took the asterisk symbol. Just took the product with the number. So the logic, the phenomena is exactly the same. But instead of showing the numbers, they will show the symbol, the asterisks. So when the for loop iterates on 1, so 1 times asterisk will be 1 asterisk here. And then when it iterates on 2, so the number is 2 here, therefore 2 times asterisk will be 2 asterisks here. I repeat it. Instead of showing the number, we will have asterisks, the symbols in the output. Similarly, when the for loop iterates over 3 times, the number is 3 now, so 3 times asterisk will be 3 asterisks. Similarly, when the for loop iterates over 4, the number will be 4. So 4 times asterisk will be 4 asterisks. So there we got the symbolic pattern in the output using the for loop. It iterates over and over again. I repeat it. If you put asterisks, you will see asterisks all the way. If you put X, you will see X all the way. If you put A, you will see A all the way. Depends on the number. First is 1, you will see 1 asterisk. Second number is 2, you will see 2 asterisks. Third number is 3, you will see 3 asterisks. Fourth number is 4, you will see 4 asterisks here, the last one. But what if I have 2 here for the 1? So if you have 2, you will see 2 asterisks here first. If it is 5, you will see 5 asterisks first. So it depends on the numbers in the list. I hope you got the point now. Example number 7. Largest value of list. Use the for loop to find the largest value of the list. So we will use the for loop here in this example to identify the largest value of the list. Initially, largest equals to none. So at very first stage, at the initial stage, there is no largest value. It is unknown. Take print of loops, colons, items, colons, largest, colons. And then for number in 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 11, if largest is none, a number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. Print loops inside the double quotes, comma number, comma largest, and take print of largest inside the double quotes, comma largest. When you run it, you will get this output. This will be the final output. This is the answer for this program. Look at here what we do. We use for loop to find the largest value of the list. Initially, largest value equals to none. So at the very first stage, at the initial stage, the largest value is unknown. Then take the print of loops, colons, items, colons, largest, colons inside the double quotes, and then use for loop for numbers in 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 11. This is the list of the numbers. We use for loop. Put colons, press the enter button, your new line will start from here. Now, if largest is none, a number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. Look at here. What this expression says that if largest is none initially, it is pointing towards the initial stage. If largest is none, or the number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. Look, the for loop will iterate each and every single number step by step. If the respective number is greater than the largest one, then this will be the largest number. It is a simple logic. Then to take the print of loops, comma number, comma largest, again take the print of largest, comma largest. When you look to the output, this first line is because of this print function. We have print of loops, colon, items, colon, largest, colons. Look at here, initially we set largest equals to none. It is not known, largest value is not known. And then print of loops, colons, items, colons, largest, colons. Then we use for loop for number in 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 11. This is the list of the numbers. These are different numbers. So I gave the name number here for number. These individual numbers is represented by the number, by the name number. Then I put colons, press the enter button, your new line will start from here. There I have used the conditional statement. If largest is none, our number is greater than largest. What we mean by this? We have used R logical operators. R is a logical operator here. For the R, at least one term should be true. Look at here. When you look to the first term, largest is none. If largest is none, it is true because we said largest equals to none. It is true. What about the second term? The second term says that number is greater than largest. First it will check number 3. If this number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. That number will be the largest value. Then it will iterate on the 2. If 2 is greater than the largest, then the previous largest, which is 3, then 2 will be the largest. So each and every step, the for loop will iterate and it will identify the largest value step by step. Now, when you look to the print function here, for the print, we have print of loops, colons inside the double quotes, comma number, comma largest. It is this part. This part is because of this print function here. Loop colon is here, number are these, and largest values are these. Similarly, this print function is the largest value. The final, the outmost print function, the outer print function is for the largest value. At the end, you will print the largest value, where largest value is 11. 11 is the largest value. Look, this is loop. 3 is the number, and largest value is 3. This is the very first value. Then the loop will iterate over the second number, which is 2. As I said, this part is because of this print function. We have to look to this print function. For the second number, for the 2, the number is 2, and the largest value is still 3. Still 3, because 3 is greater than 2. So still the 3 is for the second number as well. 3 is the largest among these two values so far. Now the for loop will iterate over 1. 1 is a number here, and what about the largest? The largest value is still 3. 3 is the largest value. 3 is greater than 2 and 1. So for among these three values, 3 is the largest value. Now the for loop will iterate over 7. The number is 7 here, and the largest value is 7 now. So 7 is the largest value at this point. From here up to here, so far, the largest value is 7 now. So 3 has been replaced by 7. The largest value is 7 so far. When we iterate over 6, the number will be 6 here. Still the largest value will be 7. Up to here, from here up to here, the largest value will be 7. So for the 6, we have 7, which is the largest value. Now finally, the for loop will iterate over the last value, which is 11. So the number will be 11, but the largest value at this point will be 11. So 7 has been replaced by 11. From here up to here, the largest value will be 11. This part is because of this print function. Now when it comes to the last print function, which is the outermost print function, it comes under global scope. The largest value, look, this largest colon is because of this largest inside the double quotes, comma, largest. So among all these values, the largest value is 11. 11 is the largest values among all these items. So there we got the largest value of the list. 11 is the largest value of the list. I hope you got the point now. But let me repeat it again. Initially we said largest equals to none. So largest value is none at the initial point. We don't know about it. Then we use print function, print of loops, colons, items, colons, and largest colons inside the double quotes. So this will be printed in the output. This is the line of because of this print function in the output. Loops, items, largest. What are items? Items are actually the numbers. You can also put numbers here. It is up to you. It is just a name. Then we used the for loop here for number in 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 11. This is the list of the numbers. I gave the name number here. This number is just the name. I gave the name number to these items. So all these items are represented by the number now. Then I put colons. Press the enter button. Your new line will start from here. I have used the conditional statement, which is if statement. Now, I have used OR logical operator here. So if largest is none, or number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. Look, we have two parts, two statements. One is largest is none, and the second one is if number is greater than largest. For the OR logical operator, at least one term, one statement must be true, must be satisfied. If both of the statements are true, or at least one statement is true, then the condition will be satisfied for the OR logical operator. Now here, when you look to the first term, largest is none. It is true, because initially we said largest equals to none, so it is absolutely true. There is no problem. The first term is true. But what about the second one? The second one says that if number is greater than largest, if that specific number is greater than the largest one, then largest equals to number, then that number will be the largest value. So at least one term is satisfied. Therefore, this if statement will be executed. Now, under this if statement, we have again print statement. We put print statement like loops, comma numbers, comma largest. Loop is this, loop with the colons, and the numbers, these are numbers 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 11, comma largest. These are the largest values. So this part is because of this representation, this print function. Then we have used another print function, which is the aftermost print function. This aftermost print function is for the largest value. What is the single largest value among all these values of the list, which is this one. So largest colons is here. Because of this, largest colon inside the double quotes, and then comma largest. This is because of the largest. So just to be clear, that in the output, this line, this menu, this kind of menu, this line is because of this print function. From here up to here is because of this body. And also from here up to here is because of this whole part, this whole region. This last line is because of this print function, So I hope you got the point now. So loops comes under loops, numbers comes under items, largest values comes under this largest. These are just like a table, the name of the titles. Let me repeat again. First for loop iterates over 3. This is the first value. It will check the number is 3 and the largest value is also 3. It is for the first value. Then the for loop will iterate over the second value, which is 2. So the number is 2 now and the largest value is still 3 because 3 is greater than 2. From here up to here, the largest value is still 3. Then the for loop will iterate over 1. So the number is 1 here now, but the largest value is still 3 because from here up to here, the largest value is still 3. Then the for loop iterates over 7. The number is 7 by now, and the largest value is 7 now. From here up to here, the largest value is 7. So 3 has been replaced by 7 now, because 7 is greater than 3. Then the for loop iterates over 6 here. So the number is 6, but the largest value is still 7 because from here up to here, the largest value is 7. 7 is greater than 6. So 7 is still the largest value. Then the for loop iterates over the last value, which is 11. The number is 11 now, and the largest value is 11. So 7 has been replaced by 11. 11 is larger than the 7. Now when it comes to this print function, it will identify a single largest value. So largest colons, comma largest. What is the largest value? The largest value is 11. So 11 is the largest value among all these numbers of the list. Look, I know you have still confusion in this part, that what we mean by number is greater than largest. So if number is greater than largest, then largest equals to number. So if number is greater than largest, then largest equals to that number. So still 3 is the largest value. But when it iterates over 2, now the number is 2. What was the largest last time? The largest was 3. If it is greater than largest, then the largest equals to number. But now, still 3 is the largest value. Then it iterates over 1. The number is 1 here. What was largest last time? Last time largest was 3. So largest equals to number if, in case, the number is greater than largest. But 1 is not greater than largest, which was 3. Therefore, still the 3 is the largest. Similarly, when it iterates over 7, 7 is the number by now. 7 is greater than largest. What was the previous largest value? The previous largest value was 3. So 7 is greater than 3. Therefore, largest equals to that number. What was that number? That number was 7. So 7 is the largest value now. Similarly, when it iterates over 6, 6 is the number by now. What was the previous largest value? The previous largest value was 7. No, 6 is not greater than 7. So if such is the case, if number is greater than largest, if 6 is greater than largest, then the largest equals to number. But 6 is not greater than 7, therefore still 7 is the largest. When it iterates over 11, now 11 is the number. What was largest? Largest means the previous largest value. The previous largest value was 7. So yes, 11 is greater than 7. Therefore, largest equals to that number. Which number? 11. 11 will be the largest value. Now what if I put total equals to 0? Sometimes you may have count equals to 0, but sometimes you may come across with the total equals to 0. It is one thing. If I have x equals to 1, 3, 2, 20, 25, for item in x, total equals to total plus 1, and then take the print of total items, total, your output will be total items are 5. Look, if you compare this example with example number 9, it is totally the same. The only difference here is the total. It is just the variable name. It can be count, it can be total, it can be x, it can be a, it can be b. It is just the name. In some books you may see that total equals to 0, total equals to total plus 1, while in other resources you may see count equals to 0, count equals to count plus 1. These are just variable. The rest of the logic is the same. The for loop will iterate on each and every single item. First it will iterate on 1 since initially total equals to 0. So for the first I will have 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 will be 1. So the first item is represented by number 1, and then the for loop will iterate over the second item. So for the second item, my previous number was 1, so I will have 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 will be 2. Its number is second. And then the for loop will iterate over the 2, which is the third item. My previous number was 2. So 2 plus 1 will be 3. Its number is 3. It is the third number. Similarly, the for loop will iterate over 20. So my previous number was 3. So 3 plus 1 will be 4. 20 is on fourth number. Similarly, when for loop iterates over 25, my previous number was 4. So 4 plus 1 will be 5. 25 is on fifth number. So total we have 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total equals to total plus 1. This is the formula. This is the formula to count the total items in the list. When it comes to this print function, print of total items, space, comma, total. So this total items with the colons is because of this statement. But look, we have space here after the colons because of this space. If you put the space here, you will get a space here, and then comma total. Total are 5 items. So your output, your final answer, your final output will be total items are 5. This is the one way to write the program. Let me check the second method. I will take exactly the same example here, but this time I will show you the alternate method. We are total equals to 0. So for item in 1, 3, 2, 20, 25, and then total equals to total plus 1, print of total items, total, you will get the same answer. Total items are 5. Look, there is nothing difficult. We directly put the list. Last time, if you remember, we had x equals to this list. We gave the name x in the previous method. But this time I don't need x. I directly put the list. So I'm going to write for item in 1, 3, 2, 20, 25. And then put colons, press the enter button, your new line will start from here. This is the formula for counting the items. The logic is the same. The only difference here is that I directly put the list here instead of giving the variable name x. For the print function, here I have total items with a space because of this space, total. Total we have 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is no difference in the output. Both of the methods give the same output. There is no difference. You can go for any method, it is up to you. Example number 13. Friends equals to Ali, Jamila, Dilbarjan, Nimra. Print of hello message to all friends. For friend in friends, print of hello comma friends, comma backslash with the n, print of the end. So this will be the final output. Look, friends is the variable names. It is just the identifier, it is the variable. It is just the name which I give friends here, friends. It is the list of the friends. Ali, Jamila, Dilbarjan, Nimra. These are just the names of the friends. So individually they are strings. Ali is a string. It is the collection of the characters inside the quotes. So it is a string. Similarly, Jamila is a string. It is the collection of the characters inside the quotes. And Dilbarjan is also a string. It is the collection of characters inside the quotes. Nimra is also a string. It is the collection of the characters inside the quotes. So these items are actually strings. It is the collection of the strings, which are the names of the friends in a list. So I'm using print function here, print of hello message to all friends. This is the title message. This print function will be the title message here, hello message to all friends with the colons. So this is the title message. Now to use the for loop here, for friend in friends. What is this friend? Friend is the representation of the individual string here. These are the individual strings. They have been named with the name friend. So they are represented by the friend name. This friends is actually the variable name, which equals to this whole list. It represents this whole list. So for friend in friends, and then put colons, press the enter button, your new line will start from here. So print of hello with colons, with a space, comma friend, comma backslash with the n inside the quotes. And then the last message, print of the end. When you run it, you'll get this output. This hello message to all friends is because of this print function. This print function. And from here up to here is from this part of the program. For friend in friends, so this for loop will iterate on each and every single friend here in the friends list, and then it will send hello message to all these friends with a backslash n. Backslash n means to start with a new line. First the for loop iterates over the first item, which is Ali. It iterates over Ali. What is Ali? Ali is actually friend. So it iterates over the friend, which is Ali. So the hello message will send to the Ali first. And then the for loop iterates over the second friend, which is Jamila. So this hello message will send to the Jamila. And then it iterates over Dilbarjan, which is the third friend. So this hello message will send to the Dilbarjan here. This hello is this hello. Look at here. This part is because of this part inside the quotes. And this part is because of this friend. What are friends? Friends are the individual strings. They are represented with the friend name. So this part is because of this friend, and this backslash n means inside the quotes that started from the new line. Similarly, it iterates over Nimra. So this hello message will send to the Nimra here. And then the last message, the final message, which is the outermost print function. It is the outermost print function, print of the end. So finally, this line is because of this print function, print of the end here. It is the outer print function. This print function doesn't depend on this part. So I hope you got the point now here. We have sent hello message to all the four friends, Ali, Jamila, Dilbarjan, and Nimra, with a final message which is the end. Problem number 2, for loop. Again, we will use the for loop to solve this problem. The statement says that a CEO of a company is sending a text to his topmost 8 employees regarding tomorrow's urgent meeting. Use a for loop to make sure that the same text has been received by all of them. Again, it is a simple daily life problem that we have. We will use for loop here. A CEO of a company want to send a same text to his topmost employees regarding tomorrow's urgent meeting. How we can do that? For loop will do the job here. By using the for loop, the same text will be sent to all of the 8 employees from the CEO. So let's go for the solution here. The list of the employees are Joe, Catherine, Salman, Lee, Bill, Karthik, Ahmad, Urvashi. Print of subject urgent announcement. For name in employees, print off tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, comma name, comma backslash n, and then print off regards CO. So when you run it, you will get this output. This will be the output of this program. Look, this is the list of the implies. This is the list of the implies. Implies is just the name of the variable that we gave. You can give any name. It's just the identifier which represents this whole list. So the list of the implies are Joe, Catherine, Salman, Lee, Bell, Karthik, Ahmad, Urvashi. These are the implies, the top 8 implies of the company. So this will be the subject message here. Print off subject urgent announcement, which is here. And then we will use the for loop for name in implies. Implies, what is implies? As I told you that this is the variable name. We can also put this whole list here, but instead of putting the list, we will call the variable, which is implies. Just simply put implies here. And name is just the individual identity, individual representations of the imply here inside the list. You can give any name. You can give A, B, C, D, whatever you want. So for loop will iterate on each and every single imply. And then we'll send this message tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting. This will be the message. Comma name. To what name? What are name? Name are the implies name. Comma backslash with the n. It means that each and every single message will start from the new line. And then print the last message regard CO. Look, this print function is before the for loop. This print function doesn't care about the for loop. This will be the first print function which is for the subject urgent announcement, which means that it is the title message. This will be the title message. It has nothing to do with the for loop. For loop starts after this message. In this body we have the for loop. So the for loop will iterate over all the implies here, which are represented by the name here. Look, from here up to here we have this message. And then comma name. What name? Joe. Because name is the representation of the individual item of the list. So by putting comma name, you will see Joe here, Joe. And then comma backslash with the n, which means that the next line will start from the new line here. So the for loop will iterate over the very first item, which is Joe. Joe is the first imply name. And it will send this message, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Joe. This is the message. From here up to here, we have this message from here up to here. And then colons, what is name? Name is the representation, identity of the individual item of the list, which implies name. So look at here, when for loop iterates or the Joe exists in the list, therefore we have Joe here. And then this backslash n, which means that start from the new line. Again, the for loop iterates or the second imply, which is Catherine. Yes, Catherine exists. So the message will be sent here, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, to Catherine. Look at here, why we have this space. This space is because of this space here. If we put a space before the last colon of the message, you will see a space all the way here. And then the for loop will iterate over the third item, which is Salman. It is the third imply. So the message will be sent to Salman, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Salman. Similarly, the for loop will iterate over the fourth imply, which is Lee. Yes, Lee exists. So the message will be sent to the Lee, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Lee. And then the for loop will iterate over the fifth item, which is Bell. Bell is the fifth imply. And a message will be sent to the Bell, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Bell. And then the for loop will iterate over the sixth item, which is the Karthik. Karthik is the sixth imply of the list. So a message will be sent to the Karthik, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Karthik. And then it iterates over the seventh item, which is the Ahmad. Ahmad is the seventh imply of the list. So Ahmad exists here. Therefore, the message will be sent, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Ahmad. And then the for loop will iterate over the last imply, the last 8 imply, Urvashi. Yes, Urvashi exists here. Therefore, the message will be sent, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an urgent meeting, Urvashi. So look at here, a single message has been sent to all the add implies, of the company from the CO. And what about the last message? The last message is printf regards CO, So as I told you, this is the Aftermost print function. So this print function doesn't care about this for loop. They will be printed. The first one is the title message, urgent announcement, and the second one is the ending message, regards CO. Global scope means the after print function. This print function comes under the local scope, which means that it comes inside the program. This is the inner message. So we will see this kind of message to all the implies. That's how we can send a single text, a single message to multiple people using the for loop. So I hope you got the point now. We already know that what is in. In shows the existence of the name, existence of the individual item, individual name in the implies. Like name in, that whether it exists or not. This in operator shows the existence of this name. So that's how we can send a single text, a single message to multiple people by using the for loop. So for loop plays tremendous role in our daily life. I hope you got the point now. Problem number 3. Counter for loop. Now in this problem we will see the counter for loop here. This will be another simple application in our daily life. So the statement says that design a program for a counter to be installed at a gate counting people, animals, and birds passing through the gate. It is a very simple problem in our daily life. We need to design a program in a Python for the counter to be installed at a gate counting people. It will count the people, animals, birds passing through the gate. This program will just count the number of the items passing through the gate, whether they are animals, whether they are birds. Everything will be counted by this program. So it is just a simple counting program. We will use the counter for loop here, counter for loop. Let's go for the solution. First count equals to 0, and then x equals to Moein, Bilal, Hania, Lisa, Joy, Javeria, Komal, Nia, Michelle. For a in name, count equals to count plus 1, print of total number, comma count. When you run it, you will get this output, total number 9. Initially the counting is 0. Now we have a list of the names, list of the people, which has been represented with the variable x. So the names are Moein, Bilal, Hania, Lisa, Joy, Javeria, Komal, Nia, Michelle. This is the number of the people which are passing through the gates. So we will use the for loop here for a in x. What is a? As I told you, a is just a name which represents the single item of the list. Moein is represented with the a, Bilal is represented with the a, Hania is represented with the a, and so on. So the individual item of the list is represented with the name a. And what is x? X is the variable name. This whole information from here up to here is represented with the x. So the time when you want to access this whole information, this whole list, you need to simply call the x. No need to put this whole list here. Just simply put x, which is the variable name. This x represents this whole thing from here up to here. And then count equals to count plus 1. Count plus 1. And then the message total number, comma count. So when you run it, you will get total number 9. Look, from here up to here, this is the message total number with a space. Why we have a space? We have a space here before the last colon here. So when you put a space here, you will see a space here. And then comma count. What is count? Count is actually the number of the people. The number of the people will be 9. Look at here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are total 9 people that have been passed through the gate. So this counter program shows 9 people here because 9 people have been passed so far through the gate. This is just a simple counting. Now how the for loop works. The for loop will iterate on each and every single item of the list. First it iterates of the first name, which is Moein. So for a, what is a? A is Moein for a in x. For loop iterates over a, which is Moein, the first item in whether exists in X or not. Yes, exists here. So it iterates or Moein. And then we have the counting formula, the forward looping counting formula. Count equals to count plus 1. Initially, look at here, initially the count equals to 0. So we will have 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1. So 0 plus 1 will be 1. So this is the first item. And then the for loop will iterate on the second name, which is Bilal. And then the counter formula will activate. The previous item was 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. So far we have 2. And then the for loop will iterate on the third name, which is Hania. The previous number was 2, so we will have 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 will be 3. So far we have 3 people. And then the for loop will iterate on the fourth name, which is Lisa. Previous number was 3, so 3 plus 1 will be 4. Up to here, so far we have 4 people, and then the for loop will iterate on the fifth item, which is Joy. So the last number was 4. 4 plus 1 will be 5. So from here up to here, so far we have 5 people, and then the for loop will iterate on Javeria. The previous number was 5. 5 plus 1 will be 6. So far we have 6 people up to here, from here up to here. And then the for loop iterates on Komal. The previous number was 6. So 6 plus 1 will be 7. So up to Komal we have total 7 people. And then the for loop will iterate on Nayar. The previous number was 7. So 7 plus 1 will be 8. Up to Nayar we have 8 people, and then the for loop will iterate on the Michelle. The previous number was 8, so 8 plus 1 will be 9. So up to Michelle we have total 9 people. 8 plus 1 will be 9. We have total 9 people, so this 9 will be printed here. What is 9? This equals to count. Therefore, comma count means that the total number 8 plus 1 equals to 9. So this 9, which equals to count, for this count we will have 9, because total number are 9 at the end. So that's how we can design a simple counting program to just simply count the number of items passing through the system. You can go for plenty of applications of the loops in your daily life. Counter loop. Let me first do example for the forward loop. For the forward counter loop. Example number 1. N equals to 0 while n is less than 4 with the colons. Take the print of n and also add n equals to n plus 1. Your output will be 0, 1, 2, 3. It is the counter loop. We are counting the numbers, but in a forward loop. It is also called the forward counter loop. Forward loop or forward counter loop. It is actually while loop. This while loop is actually called the counter loop or the counter forward while loop. This while loop is actually the counter forward while loop. Now look at here. Initially n equals to 0, and then we have used while loop here. While n is less than 4 with the colons, press the enter button, your new line will start from here. Take the print of n, and then add one another statement. N equals to n plus 1. When you run it, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3. Now what this statement says? This statement says that n should be less than 4. But make sure initially n equals to 0, which means that n has to be started from the 0. Initially n equals to 0, and then go ahead, print all the numbers. But make sure they have to be less than 4. Shouldn't be greater than 4. Must be less than 4. When you use the print function, print of n, these numbers will be printed in the output. Look, if you have n here, you have to put n. If you have a here, you have to put a here, and also a. If you have x here, you have to put x here, and x here. It is just the name of the variable. I repeat it again and again. That variable name can be any name. It can be a name, it can be a variable. It is up to you. It can be a, it can be b, it can be n, it can be any other name. It is up to you. But whatever name you have here for the variable, you have to use all the way the same name here and also then here for the print function. Now, look at here. This is the formula. This is the formula for the counter loop. N equals to n plus 1. So it counts the number. Initially n equals to 0. And then 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 will be 1. And then 1 plus 1 will be 2. And then 2 plus 1 will be 3. So the loop will stop at 3 because n should be less than 4. 4 is not included, should be less than 4. So it is the execution of the block of numbers multiple times. So this is the simple example of the while loop, which we call it forward counter while loop. Forward counter while loop to show the numbers in the forward pattern like 0, 1, 2, 3, not in a reverse form like 3, 2, 1 and 0. It is in the forward form. Therefore we call it counter forward while loop. Let me take again the same example, example number 1. We can also write while n is less than and equals to 3 and also put n equals to n plus 1. You will get exactly the same answer, 0, 1, 2, 3. Its initial stage is 0. It starts from 0 here, 0, and then less than 3, 1, 2, 3, less than 3 and equals to 3, equals to 3. So whether you put n is less than 4 or n is less than and equals to 3, you will get the same output. There is no difference in the output. You will get the same output here. Look, the while loop, it is called the counter forward while loop because it counts in the forward form, in the forward way. 0 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3. It is going forward. Initially it equals to 0. 0 is the initial n value. So 0 plus 1 will be 1, and then it executes one more time where our last value was 1. So it will be 1 plus 1 equals to 2. Then another time where my last value is 2. So 2 plus 1 will be 3. So there we got the output. You have to add 1 to the previous value. This is the formula for the counter forward while loop. If you put negative here, it will be the backward loop. But since we are talking about the forward counter loop, therefore we're going to use n plus 1, n plus 1. But make sure don't be confused here in this part. Whether you put n is less than 4 or n is less than or equals to 3, it is absolutely one thing. You'll get the same output. There won't be any difference in the output. The output will be the same. Let me take again the same example, example number 1, which is n equals to 0 while n is less than or equals to 3. Print of n, we can also write n plus equals to 1 instead of n equals to n plus 1. Whether you type n equals to n plus 1 or n plus equals to 1, it is one thing. The formula is the same. You will get the same output here. But let me use n plus equals to 1 this time. When you run it, you will get the same output, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is the counter formula, forward counter formula, not backward, forward counter formula. Example number 2. I equals to 1 while I is less than or equals to 7. Put the colons and then press the enter button. Your new line will start here. Print of I and then add the counter formula, which is I equals to I plus 1. You'll get this output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, this time I give the variable name I. You can put I, you can put n, you can put a, you can put x, y, z, whatever you want. It is just the name of the variable. It is the identifier. It is the placeholder where it keeps the information one in the memory. It's just the name. You can give any name, but make sure whatever thing you put here for the variable, you have to put it here and then also for the print function. You cannot put I here and then n here and n here. You have to put the same name all the way at 3 places, here, here and here. So we have while I is less than or equals to 7, equals to 7. Then take the print of I and also put the counter formula, I equals to I plus 1. Here the while loop will execute multiple times. Initially I has been set to 1. So first it will start with a 1. Then the while loop will be executed. So we will have 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. Then it will execute one more time. So 1 will be added to the previous value. What was the previous value? The previous value was 2. So it will be 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 equals to 3. Then the while loop will execute one more time, where the 1 will be added to the previous value. The previous value was 3 this time, so 3 plus 1 will be 4. Then we'll execute one more time, where 1 will be added to the previous value. The previous value is 4 this time, so 4 plus 1 will be 5. Then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. The previous value was 5, so 5 plus 1 will be 6. Then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. Look, I is this value. So the previous value was 6, so 6 plus 1 will be 7. There we got the output. Look, the condition says that I is less than 7, or equals to 7. Less than 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, less than 7. But at the same time equals to 7. Don't forget, you have to put 7. You have to include 7 here. If you remove equal sign here and you simply put I is less than 7, then your answer will be up to 6. 7 will not be included. But since we have equal sign here, so the condition says that I is less than and also is less than or equals to 7. There we got the output. But make sure this time it starts with a 1, not with a 0. If you remember, last time we had n equals to 0. So initial condition was set to 0. This time it has been set to 1. So it will start from the 1, and then the while loop will execute. We'll add 1 to the 1 to become 2, and then we'll execute again to add 1 to the 2 to become 3, and then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the 3 to become 4, and then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the 4 to become 5, and then execute again to add 1 to the 5 to become 6, and then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the 6 to become 7. So this will be the output after the execution of the while loop multiple times. It is the forward counter while loop. It is going forward like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is in ascending order, not in descending order. Example number 3. N equals to 5. Print of execution of while loop. While n is less than 10, print of n equals to n plus 1, print of end of loop. When you run it, you will get this output. This is the answer. Look at here, initially n is set to 5. I just simply add one print function here, which shows the title line, execution of while loop. This is just the title line. Now while loop starts from here. So while n is less than 10, it means that it will start from the 5 until 9, because 10 is not included. Less than 10 is 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Print of n, and n equals to n plus 1. This is the formula for the counter. As I said, don't forget, whatever variable name you have it here, you have to put it here, and also for the print, and also here. Don't forget it. You have to be very careful. You cannot simply put n and then I here, or I here, and n here. You have to put n all the way. If you have I here, you have to put I all the way. If you have x here, you have to put x all the way. This is just the variable name. And also one last message, which is end of loop. It is because of this print function. Look, what we did here, we just did simple modification here. I have just added one print function after n equals to 5 and one print function at the end, which is end of loop. Nothing difficult. The rest of the part is exactly the same what we did in example number 1 and in example number 2. This print function and this print function doesn't affect the while loop process. So the title line execution of while loop is because of this print function, and the last line, which is end of loop, is because of this print function. Look, initially n is equal to 5, so it will start with the 5. So 1 will be added to 5, which is the initial value. It is the very first value. So 5 plus 1 will be 6. And then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. The previous value is 6. So 6 plus 1 will be 7. And then we'll execute while loop one more time to add 1 to the previous value. The previous value this time is 7. So 7 plus 1 will be 8. And then we'll execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. This time the previous value will be 8. So 8 plus 1 will be 9. And that's all. Because the condition says that n is less than 10. If you put n is less than or equals to 10, then we'll include 10. But since we don't have equal sign here, therefore n must be less than 10. Must be less than 10. So you have to stop the process at 9. And then the last message, end of loop, because of this print function. You can add multiple print functions. They won't affect the while loop process. It is up to you. So this is the output. This will be the final output of the above program when you run it. Example number 4. N equals to 1 while n is less than or equals to 5. Print of asterisk times n. N equals to n plus 1. Your output will be in this pattern. It is a symbolic pattern. Again, it is a forward counter while loop. Look, initially n is set to 1, and then the condition says that n must be less than, but at the same time equals to 5. Equals to 5. And take the print of asterisk inside the quotes times n, and then add the counter loop formula, which is n equals to n plus 1. When you run it, you will get this pattern. You will get this pattern. Look at here. This time we took the product of asterisk with the n. Asterisk with the n. N is the number, but asterisk is any symbol. You can put X, you can put Y, you can put G, whatever you think you want, you can put it here inside the quotes. So this stuff will be printed in the final output. Look, initially it equals to 1, so it will start with the 1. 1 will be added to the 1, so 1 plus 1 will be 2. So instead of writing 2 here, I will see 2 asterisk symbols. And then the while loop will execute one more time to add the previous value. The previous value was 2, so 2 plus 1 will be 3. I will have 3. But instead of 3 number, I will see 3 asterisks symbols. Similarly, the while loop will execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. The previous value was 3, so 3 plus 1 will be 4. But I will see 4 asterisks instead of 4 number, because I have the product of asterisks with the n. And then while loop will execute one more time to add 1 to the previous value. The previous value was 4, so 4 plus 1 will be 5. You will see 5 asterisk signs instead of 5 number. We have the product of asterisks with the n. So that's how we can do symbolical print using the forward counter while loop. The logic is exactly the same. There is no difference. But the only modification here is that we took the product of asterisks with the n. Instead of single n, we have asterisk times n. So we will have asterisks in the output all the way. It is a forward loop. It is in ascending order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the condition says that n is less than and also equals to 5. So 5 is included. Make sure 5 is included because of this equal to sign. Infinite loop. In this session we are going to talk about the infinite while loop. Example number 9. While n is greater than 0, take the print of n, and when you run it, it goes in infinity. Therefore we call it infinite counter while loop. Look, if you remember last time, for the counter loop, the initial value for the n was determined, like n equals to 0, n equals to 5. But since we don't have any initial value, there is no initial point, we directly put the condition n is greater than 0, while n is greater than 0. But what is the limit? What is the ending value? What is the last value? We don't know. If we directly put while n is greater than 0 and take the print of n, the loop will go forever. It won't stop at any point. That's why we call it infinite while loop. It's looping forever. One more example for the infinite loop, which is example number 10. N equals to 1 while true, and then colons, print of n equals to n minus 1, and then print of hello. When you run it, you will get hello. The hello will print forever. It is looping forever. It goes in infinity. That's why we call it infinite while loop. The initial value has been determined. It is n equals to 1. But when it comes to this condition, while true, which means that while loop is true all the times, and then put colons, press the enter button, your print function will start from here, and then take the print of n with a backward looping formula, which is n equals to n minus 1. It is a backward formula, backward counter formula. And then you add one more print function, which is print of hello. So this hello will be printed. This print of hello will go forever. There is no end. Because remember, we don't have the ending value. There is no ending point. Because look at here, there is no specific condition like n is greater than 10, n is less than 10. While loop is true forever, all the time. It is true all the time. Therefore, it is going in infinity. It is looping forever. Forever. There is no ending point. In fact, we have the initial point, which is n equals to 1. But there is no condition. There is no ending value. So it is going forever. There is no point where the loop will stop. That's why we call it infinite while loop. Infinite counter while loop. Pass statement. What is pass statement? How you can give the pass statement to the while loop? Example number 12. While x equals to y, then pass. When you run it, you will get no output here. If I directly put while x equals to y here, and then put colons, press the enter button, and then pass the pass statement here, when you run it, it won't show any result. It won't show any output. Now, what is the point? What is the usage of this pass statement? If you don't give the pass statement here, error will be given in the output. It will show the error. The program will crash. But since we have pass statement here, when you run it, it won't show any result. It won't show any output. Even it won't show any error. And the program won't crash at this point when you give the pass statement. So in other words, we can say that because of the pass statement, we can stop the program from crashing. It will simply don't show any result. If you remove the pass, it will give you the error because while x equals to y, we don't know what is the x value. We don't know what is the y value. So obviously the program will crash and will give you the error. But since we have pass statement, therefore it won't show any result. It will stop the program from crashing, and also it will stop it to give the error in the final output.